All right, are you guys ready? Yeah. You'll need a blanket, and that's pretty much it. I mean, always have a chair around just in case I change my mind. My mind is always subject to change. But you're going to start supine. I've got the blanket folded right here. Let's get going. Let's see. Okay, I hope it works. Okay, so we're gonna actually work on some twists tonight, and one of my favorite poses, Merfolk Pose. Um, but we got to start on the floor because it's yoga. It's one of the luxuries of yoga classes, starting on the floor, right? So go ahead and fold your blanket not quite in half, right? And if you have a quilt or something, just fold it into that general yoga blanket size, and then you can fold that in half. Then from here, lay down and have the blanket support the backs of your shoulders and the back of your head. And let your arms rest by your sides. And we are going to be sliding the feet a little bit. So if you have a super sticky mat, you might want to have your body more towards the end of the mat so that your foot can slide on carpet or hardwood or whatever you're on. Um, okay. So knees are bent, feet are at a comfortable width apart. And bring your attention to your breath. Without trying to change it. Just notice how it feels moving through your body, its rhythm, its pace. On the next exhale, slow your breath down. Make the exhale a little bit longer than you think you can. And allow the inhale to become a response instead of a forced action. And take a few more breaths like that, elongating the exhale, inviting the inhale. And check in with the cadence of your heart and invite that to slow down as well. Now let your knees float in and out, not a big range of motion, not even enough to pull the toes off the floor. Just in and out. And then bring the feet to hip width apart. So that might be a little bit narrower for you. It might be where you are. And extend out the right leg. Dorsiflex the ankle, reach through the heel, push the heel down, press the top of the thigh down. And then keeping the heel pushing into the floor, drag it back up, bending the knee and activating the back of the leg. And then second one, extend. Dorsiflex the ankle, push the heel down, press the top of the thigh down, and then drag the heel back up. So one more time each side, extend the right leg. Dorsiflex the ankle, push the heel down, top of the thigh presses down, drag the heel up, and then extend the left leg, push the heel down, and then drag it up. Take a big inhale and exhale, slide the blanket out from underneath your head. So now your head is all the way on the floor, and just let your arms rest by your side still. This time a little bit wider, pulling them up and out to the sides like a T position with your torso. And draw the heels up a little bit closer to your cheeks. Then push down into your outer heels and big toes to lift the hips up, squeezing the cheeks in order to lift the pelvis. And exhale, float the hips down. And outer heel presses, big toe presses. Lift the hips up, squeezing the cheeks to open the front of the pelvis. And exhale, let the hips slide down. And again, inhale, press through the feet to lift the hips up. And exhale to slide down. And inhale, press through the feet to lift the hips up. And exhale, let them slide down. Then let both knees fall over to the right. Allow the left shoulder to pop up off the floor so you're not pinning anything. Just a really loose, elongated twist of the spine. Then come up through center and shift second side and lift up the right shoulder. Then come up through center and drop to the right side, lift the left shoulder. Stay long in the spine, no big twist. And then come up through center with the knees. And then one more time, second side. Knees go over to the left. And slide them back up to center. Now shift on to your favorite side and rest your head in your arms. Then keeping the top leg heavy, press up to seated, bringing your head up last. Now grab your blanket and take it from the original fold, right? And then fold it in half lengthwise, and then fold it, well, roll it really from one end to the other. So you have a really nice thick blanket. You could also use blocks for this. I want you to place it underneath your hips to sit in Vajrasana. So I don't want the heels going outside of the thighs, yeah, or outside of the hips. I want the heels right underneath. And if the blanket wasn't there, they could go underneath the sit bones. And again, that could be like 1 or 2 blocks, even higher than that. And then from here, take the skin on the top of the right knee and pull it forward. And then take the skin on the top of the left knee and pull it forward. Right? And if the calves are feeling full because it's 100 million degrees out and humidity, you can go ahead and lean forward and push them back and down with your thumbs. I just take my thumbs and draw them down. Okay. And come up to seated. All right. So on the next inhale, reach your arms up and grow long through the side bellies and then open them out to the sides. Yeah. If this gets uncomfortable on the knees at all, you can just come right up to kneeling also. Then take your right arm behind your back and across to the left hip. Keep your left arm reaching out. Now, twist to the right. Roll the head of the right shoulder back and spin to the right. Keep reaching through the left thumb. So it's not coming across the chest, it's reaching out in its own direction. Then come through center and twist to the left, reaching even more through the left thumb on this side. And release to come back to front. Unfold that right arm, let the arms shake out a little bit, and then reach them up. Come out to the side, and you're going to take your left arm behind the back to catch the right hip. Now you're twisting to the left, but keep reaching through the right thumb and spin. And take a few breaths into any place that feels tight. It might be the shoulder, it might be the side body, it might be the back. Then come right through center and keep going around to the second side. Now go to the right. Reach even more through the right thumb. Lift the chest up. Elongate the belly. And come back through center and release. Shake your wrists and your elbows and then swing your shoulders. Then come forward into tabletop. So if you'd like, shake out that blanket and place it from in the original fold underneath your knees and let your hips just sway side to side. Then press a little bit more into the right hand and send the right leg back. Right. Now from here, I want you to make sure you have enough room to the side of you, to your right side. So swing the leg around to the side. Good. And come back. So we're going to just trace this a little more than a quarter circle because I want you to come across the midline in the back and to the side and back. And if you're on a pool deck, you might want to even float the toes instead of drag them and to the side and back and to the side and back. All right, and release. Let that knee come down. Let your hips shake side to side. Push more into your left hand and send your left leg back. And maybe shift all the way over to the right now so you have space. And then swing it to the side and back. And it can come across. And to the side and back. And to the side and back, then to the side and back. Good. And release, come back to center. Now, tuck your toes under, walk your hands way forward. Push into your feet and your hands and come up into downward facing dog. And immediately begin to play around with downward facing dog. Drop one heel and then the other. Open one side body and then the other. Then begin to lift your heels up and down, opening the toes, opening the soles of the feet. Then lift your hips up and bring your knees back to the blanket. Untuck your toes and walk your hands all the way back up so that you are kneeling. Then take your arms up and out to the side. Bring your right arm back and across so that the fingertips come towards the left hip. And then the second arm comes across to the opposite shoulder. Now, twist to the right, right? Twist to the side of the back arm. Spin and take a few breaths here. Keep that right hip moving forward so it doesn't spin around with you, right? So the right hip moves forward and the right shoulder moves back. And breathe. And release. Undo the arms, shake them out, and reach them up. Grow long. Breathe through the back body. Take them out to the side. Now bring your left arm behind you and across so you can feel your right hip, and then take the second arm across the opposite shoulder. Good. Now open the front body. Use your hips to open the front body and twist to the left. Keep the left hip point moving forward by using the left cheek. And breathe down into that side of the pelvis. Good. And release. The arms unfold, shake them out, walk the hands forward, tuck the toes under, press up into downward facing dog, release the back of the neck. Shake your head around, yes and no, and maybe. Then on the next breath cycle, walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Bend ankles, knees, and hips to hang forward. Then push through the feet to come up and reach up. Urdhva Hastasana. Grow long through the back body. And exhale to stand. All right, move your blanket out of the way. I see a couple folded up mats, so go ahead and unfold them and come into just a comfortable stand. Okay. So let's start with the ankles. We'll do both at the same time and not even toes up the blanket. So outer heels down, big toes down, heels down, shins forward. And imagine your knees are pointing towards your third toe, right? A little bit out. That's straight for them. Yeah. And up. And then again, heel down, shin forward. So just Utkatasana with the ankles. And up and heel down, shin forward and up. Open the front of the hips when you straighten the legs using your cheeks, and heel down, shin forward and up. Now take the arms up and out and go heels down, shins forward. Shift on to your left leg and reach through the right heel. And heels down, shins forward, coming through center, and then reach through the left heel. Good. And heels down, shins forward, and reach with the right heel. Standing leg is in Utkatasana, ankle, knee, and hip slightly bent, and heel down, shin forward, and switch. Good. And release. Let the arms soften and just shake out the right ankle and knee and hip, and let the tissue move around the femur. Yeah, good. And then second one, ankle and knee and hip. letting the tissue move around the femur. Then step wide and let your spine release in a little bit of a shakeout as well. Then from Tadasana, from standing, hop or step your feet super duper wide. Nice and wide stance. Now bend ankles, knees, and hips, and then draw the heels in. Good. And open the front of the hips, take the heels out, bend ankles, knees, and hips, and open to draw the heels in, and up to send the heels out, and up to draw the heels in. Now let's hang out a little bit in Goddess. Outer heels down, right? Take the outer heel and push them down, and you'll feel that connection up through the back of the leg. Big toes push down, and you might even feel the front of the pelvis lift with that. Reach your arms up, take them out to the side. Then on the next exhale, take your right forearm to your right thigh and extend through the left side body. Then come up through center and second side. Take the left elbow to the left thigh and extend through the right side body. Good. And up. Push down through the outer heels. Open the front of the hips to come up. Now reach through your fingertips. Press through your heels and toes. And then bend ankles, knees, and hips to come all the way back down again. Now, on the next exhale, right elbow to right thigh, extend through the left side body. Then as you come up, reach that top thumb back, spin your chest towards your left leg to come up twisted to the left. Good. Then come back to center with the torso. And second one, taking the forearm to the thigh, reach long through the right side. Now reach the right thumb back. Spin the chest to come up. Try to stay down in there. Outer heels down, big toes down. And back to center. Then press through your feet to straighten the legs. And exhale, bend. And heels out. And heels in. And toes in. And heels in. And toes in. And heels in. To stand. Good. Shake. Excellent. Let's do something easy like a sun salutation now. Come up to the short end of your mat. Inhale, reach up. Lift the back body. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway, for real halfway, and even draw the elbows up and back a little bit today. Right, so really pulling the chest forward. Squeeze a little bit the scapula towards each other. Good. And then exhale, release that. Hands come to the floor. Hop or step to downward facing dog. Now, lift the heels up in down dog and then drop them down. Press long through the shoulders. Lift the heels up and drop them down. Now push through the feet to come forward, high plank, high push-up position. Then exhale, knees to the floor, bellies to the floor. You can take your elbows out to the side and let your forehead rest on your hands. Now, a couple of breaths here. Inhale, fill the sacrum. And move that breath all the way to the sternum, diagonally right through the torso. Exhale, soften. Inhale, fill the sacrum, and then move the breath to the sternum. And again, fill the sacrum and move to the sternum. And breathe sacrum to sternum. Now reach a little bit longer through your right leg. You can even lift those toes off the floor and feel the front of the hip open on the floor. And then reach a little bit longer to the second leg, as if you're creating space in the hip joint, and rest it down. Now, slide your hands by your side so that your elbows are over your wrists. Roll the heads of the arm bones back. Reach through your toes and draw your elbows back on their diagonals. Baby Cobra. Tuck the toes under. Come all the way up through ankles, knees, and hips to downward facing dog. Hands push down, hips lift up. Feet push down, hips lift up. Now lift your hips up and come all the way to seated. Okay, before you lay down, let me show. It's so simple that it's bound to have too many answers to the verbal instruction. You're just going to bring one heel up, one leg is extended. And this is as if it's just relaxed. Yeah, if your leg is relaxing, right? Invite it to relax. Sometimes I want parts of me to relax and they're not so relaxed. However, this other leg is going to do a little work. So from here, I'm going to do the same bridge. It's a one-legged bridge though, and the second leg just gets to hang, right? And come down. All right. So this is much easier if the heel can slide. In fact, I didn't even try it on a mat because I just thought that would be much less fun. Okay. So go ahead and have the heel. It doesn't move very much, but have it off of the mat so that it can slide a little bit. Yeah. All right. And then have your arms out to the side like a T again. And before we even go, I want you to take a couple breaths and invite that extended leg, the femur on the extended leg, to just drop. Just let it drop. Let it soften. Okay. All right. So with the bent knee, push into the outer heel, push into the big toe, and float that hip up. It's not very much. And then let it come back down. And float the hip up. And let it come back down. And then one more time, we make it a waltz. Push through the outer heel to the big toe to float the hip up. It's just a little lift. And come back down. Now extend that second leg, let it shake out, and bend the right leg to come to the first side. All right. Standing leg, right? That's the foot of the bent knee. Outer heel to big toe presses and lift the hips up. It's just a small lift. And then slide back down and lift the hips up and slide back down and lift the hips up and slide back down. Good. And extend that leg. Shake both legs side to side. Now drag the heels up, feet on the floor. Two options for coming up to seated. Either shift on to your side to come up to seated, or keeping your feet on the floor, reach your fingertips towards your toes to curl up to seated. Okay. Once you're seated, shift forward. So cross your legs, shift forward into tabletop, walk the hands ahead, tuck the toes under, and press into downward facing dog. Take a big inhale, breathe into the back ribs in downward facing dog. Then walk your hands all the way back to your feet, bending ankles, knees, and hips. Release the back of your neck. And inhale, push the feet into the floor to reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, back to same standing. Good. Now, take your feet wide. Face the long side of your mat and take your feet wide. Then press into the ball of the left foot, inner spiral, and send that heel back. And then open the right toes to the right. Leaving the hands on the hips, heel down, shin forward. Check in with how far that would like to go. And then come up. And heel down, shin forward. Good. And come up. Now, stretch the sole of that foot. Let the foot grow a little more because it might need it. Outer heel to big toe. Bend ankle, knee, and hip on the right leg. Now, sweep the arms up. Open them to the sides and spin just your chest around to the long side of your mat. Now, on the next exhale, take your right forearm to your right thigh. This can also come all the way down if you're really flexed at the hip joint. And then sweep the top arm forward towards the top ear for extended side angle. Send that outer heel back a little bit more, Elena. Yeah, inner spiral the thigh. Yes, good. Now on the next inhale, keep reaching through that top thumb. Come all the way up, twisting towards the back leg. Drop into the outer front heel to support that hip. And then exhale all the way back down into extended side angle. Good. So either stay here or we go one more time. Reach through that top arm, reach it back and come up. Twist towards the back leg. And return to extended side angle. Then inhale, press to the back heel to come up. Bring your hands to your hips, feet to parallel, even them out. Might always get a little bit askew. Shake your ankles and hips out a little bit, and we go to the second side. All right, press into the ball of the right foot, inner spiral, and send the heel back, and then open the left toes to the left. And heel down, shin forward. Right, remember, this leg goes wherever you want it to, so you can move it around. So these preliminary ones are, maybe the toe needs to angle in a different direction, yeah? Heel down, shin forward. And come up. Now, heel down, shin forward. And up. Open the sole of the foot. Reach through the toes a little bit more. Outer heel presses, big toe presses, bend. Sweep your arms up. Open them to the side and spin just the thoracic spine around. Now, take your left forearm to your left thigh and sweep the right arm up and to the right ear. Front leg, outer heel pushes down, big toe pushes down. Keep reaching back with that top right arm and come up to spin towards the back leg. Then come all the way back down, extended side angle. Maybe stay here, maybe explore that again. Reach behind you with the top arm to come up, push into the outer heel of the front leg, and slide all the way back down. Now inhale, press to the back heel to come up, reach up. Bring the feet to parallel and heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in. Good. Shake everything out. Come up to the front of the mat. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Lift the elbows a little bit. We're going to make this a little more like cow pose. Exhale, heels down, shins forward, sits bones back, palm the floor. Take weight into your hands and hop or step back to downward facing dog. Now really press the floor away from you and open the back between the shoulders. Push the feet into the floor and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, press through your feet to come forward, high plank, high push-up position. And here, take a couple of those nice breaths, inhaling sacrum to sternum, and exhale, grow the torso longer. Inhale, sacrum to sternum, and exhale, grow even longer. And again, inhale, sacrum to sternum. And then one more time, sacrum to sternum. Take your knees to the floor and your bellies to the floor. Stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. Take a couple of breaths here, just elongating the exhale, inviting the heart to slow down. And slide your hands to your sides. Have your wrists underneath your elbows. Reach through your toes. Tops of the feet push down and into the floor. Tops of the thighs press up towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, roll the heads of the arm bones back and pull your elbows away from you and on their diagonals. Take a couple breaths in baby cobra, finding the upper back. If you feel like you're in the low back, find your cheeks and ask them to work to open the front of the hips. Then tuck your toes under and go up and back to downward facing dog, either straight up or through ankles, knees, and hips. Now lift your hips up and bring your knees all the way back down to the floor. Grab your blanket, and if you're on your mat, fold it up, send it out of the way. We're going to slide around a little tiny bit. All right. Right leg comes forward. Yeah. Tuck the left toes under. Now, squeeze the back of the knee and maybe even slide the back knee forward with you. Yeah, if your floor is slidey enough. And then come up. And if you slid the back knee forward, take the front foot a little bit forward. You're going to actually gain some territory here. And again, squeeze the back of the knee as if to slide that back knee forward. Good. And come up. And again, heel down, shin forward, and squeeze. And one more time, heel down, shin forward, and squeeze. So you can still activate all of this without moving, right? You don't have to slide across the floor. It's just kind of fun. All right. All right. Go back. We have a whole nother side to do, or turn around and you can go the other direction. And we'll take the second leg forward. Front leg. Yeah, left leg comes forward, tuck the back toes under, and then front leg, squeeze the back of the knee, heel down, shin forward, and up, and squeeze the back of the knee to come forward and up, and squeeze the back of the knee to come forward and up, and squeeze the back of the knee to come forward and up. Good. And then release. Everyone's knees doing okay? Can I get like a thumbs up on your knees? All right. You know how I love kneeling work. All right. Now I want you to take your right leg forward and then out to the side. Okay. All right. And just so I know everyone's hips have had a chance, come forward again and then go out to the side. All right. So you can always lean away from the leg if it feels like too much in the hip joint. Okay. Now bring your arms up and out to the side. And we have the right leg out to the side. I want you to take your right arm back and across. Okay. Now, reach through that right heel. And as you reach through that right heel, you might feel a conversation even up into the outer cheek. And then twist to the right, keeping the left arm extended. Take a couple breaths here. I just noticed in my own body that I was collapsing back with this hip. Open the front of the standing hip as you do this. It will make it much more interesting for the side bodies when you twist. Then come back to center and release. Come forward into tabletop. That leg is still out to the side. And you're going to reach the left arm forward and up. And take a couple breaths here. And release. Walk your hands back to come up. Take that leg in and shake your feet out, your legs out, your arms out, and we come to the second side. So go ahead and bring your left leg forward. Okay. And then swing it directly out to the side. And forward. Just check in with the hips, make sure that that's fair for them because it's going to be parallel, and that's a big range of motion, parallel. And out to the side. Now reach through that heel and work to open the front of this hip. Take your arms up and out. Now you're going to take your left arm back and behind you to catch the right hip. Then twist towards the left leg, opening the front of the right hip, trying to stay open through the front of the right shoulder. And breathe. And release to come forward. Then take your hands forward. Yeah. Stretch long through the right hand and come up. Press down through the bottom thumb and forefinger. Reach the chest forward. Keep the back of the neck long. And release. Good. Come back up and bring the leg in and shake things out. All right, now come all the way to seated. Take your blanket and fold it in half, at least, right? In the studio, we often do this on bolsters. So if you have one, you might want to sit on the end of it. Or if you have extra blankets, or even better, like a really thick quilt or something, you can get this to be pretty high. So I'm going to put just my right cheek on the blanket, and my right knee is going to be on the floor. Okay. Then instead of we're not doing a regular merfolk, so you're not going to stack this ankle over the sole of the foot, as I see some of you are already heading in that direction. I want you to go out into that kind of deer pose sit. Yeah. So I have my back heel really close to the cheek, so I'm on the top of this foot. If that is uncomfortable for the ankle, you can take that leg out to the side. If you have another blanket, you can put a corner of the blanket underneath the front of the ankle, and that's going to take a lot of the stretch off the top of the foot. So if your foot is cramping or if it just isn't going to plantar flex to that range, then you can just lift it or extend the leg. Okay, so now just play with the movement of the hips. So I want you using this cheek, using this left cheek, squeeze the cheek to bring the chest around to the right and then come back. Yeah, and squeeze the cheek to spin and then come back. Okay, good. Everyone's cheeks are moving well. Now take the arms up and then out to the side. Then the right arm, yeah, the same arm as the front leg, is going to come back and around. Yeah. Then you're going to bend the left elbow and catch it. Okay. Now I have my palm up. I just want you to squeeze the cheek, yeah, and reach through that left forearm to twist. And come back. All right. Now, if you felt it, you know what? Let's all do this because I think this is interesting. Now come forward. Yeah. All right. Just bending at the hip joint so it's not very far. And do it again. Yeah. Squeeze the cheek and then reach through the left elbow to twist. Right. So that can bring some of the pressure off the low back. And come up. Let the left cheek release. And we go again. Either forward or up, so you choose. Squeeze the cheek to lift and twist. Extend through the left elbow, right? Like you're trying to reach it ahead of you. Take a couple breaths here. Look over your right shoulder. And release. All right, undo your arms. Take your legs forward. Shake them around. And then we come to the second side. All right, so now you're gonna have your left hip up on the blanket or the bolster or the two blankets, yeah, or the bolster and the blankets, the block. All right, back foot comes in. So I was just doing a really bad demo of twisting a knee joint. So this is a terrible idea for your knees, but this works, yeah, tucking that foot in. And again, if you need to, you take it to the side, okay? All right, now front knee is on the floor, front hip is on something, and just play with the hip joint. Now, I have really different sides here, right? And you might have really different sides as well. You might not, right? So just check in with how the hip feels because we don't want to push the hip joint into an inappropriate range of motion. And it gets to decide what's appropriate, by the way. Yeah. All right. Now let that hip settle back down and reach the arms up and out to the side. Now you're going to take the left arm, comes back and around as if to catch the right hip. Then you're going to take the right arm, bend the elbow, have the palm up, and catch the elbow with that left hand. All right. Now press through the back shin, squeeze the back cheek, spin around, and then reach through the palm of the right hand. Right, so I'm holding the elbow. Ellie, you got that? Yep. Okay, good. Yep, but behind. Nope, here. Good question. This is the close up. You ready? Yeah, like that. Okay. All right. So we did the upright one. Now let's do a forward one. So tilt at the hips and then still find this cheek. Yeah. Press through the shin, find the cheek, reach that palm forward and twist. And it'll be a little bit different down there. Then come to center and come up. Now, either go forward or stay up. You get to choose this time. And spin. Roll the head of the left arm bone back. Reach through the palm. Use the cheek on the right leg. And breathe. Gaze out and over your left shoulder. And release. All right, unfold your arms and legs. Take the legs forward and shake them out. Lay down. Have your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Maybe even close to the bottom edge of the mat because we're going to send one leg straight here eventually again. Yeah. Let your arms just come out to your sides. And from here, outer heels press, big toes press, squeeze the hips up. Open the front of the pelvis. So now maybe everything floats up a little bit higher. And exhale, bend at the hip joint to come back down. And again, squeeze the hips to open the front of the pelvis. Don't even think of it as a back bend. Just find the back body, find the hamstrings, find the cheeks. And exhale to come down. And again, squeeze the hips, push down through the outer heels and the big toes to come up. Now reach through your fingertips. Reach your arms long and begin to move the sternum towards the chest. And if this is in your low back, ask the cheeks to do more, right? As if you're pulling yourself towards the heel side of your mat, towards the foot side of your mat, not pushing towards your head. And take a few breaths here. And slowly lower down. And let your knees go out and in and out and in and out and in and out and in. Now extend your left leg and bring the right knee in across the midline without lifting the right hip off the floor. Really squeeze the right inner thigh. And then open the knee all the way down as far as it can go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come up and squeeze across the midline. Squeeze across the midline like you're trying to touch something on the other side of you with that knee. And open out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring the knee up and extend and switch. Second leg comes up, right? So now you're going to squeeze that inner thigh to bring the knee across the midline, but don't let that cheek come off the floor. We're not trying to come all the way off. We're just trying to activate the deep core line. Then come up and out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and all the way back up and squeeze across the midline, and then open up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the knee up and let that leg extend. Now, grab your blanket, place it underneath your head and maybe even the tops of your shoulders. If you would like, you can take a second blanket for underneath your knees. You can also put your lower legs up in the chair. It's a really great, it's actually a great way to undo a long day of sitting is just to lay down with your lower legs in the chair. I realize it looks like more sitting, but the relationship to gravity is really different. Okay. So before coming into final relaxation, let's take a few purposeful breaths, expanding the torso. So on the next exhale, exhale completely. And inhale, fill the sacrum all the way to the sternum. And exhale, soften. And inhale, sacrum to sternum. And exhale, soften. And again, sacrum to sternum and soften. And last one, sacrum to sternum and soften. Come back to your own rhythm and your own cadence with the breath. And give yourself permission for just a few moments to do nothing. So bring some movement back into your bodies. Wiggle around your fingers and toes and ankles and wrists. Then shift on to your favorite side and rest your head in your arms. And then with an inhale and as little effort as possible, keeping the top leg heavy, press up to seated, bringing your head up last. All right. Namaste, you guys. Thank you.